Hello, welcome or welcome back to Where We Knit. My name is Kristen and I am coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this is my little YouTube video where I share with you everything fiber, sewing, making, and anything that's kind of making me go bananas in the knitting world. I have not been here for 2 weeks. I went back to work as a teacher, and doing these videos every week is not gonna work, but I am happy to be back. There's a lot to share, and I really try to keep these videos down to 30 minutes. So I'm gonna jump right in. First, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about what I'm wearing. This, I'm gonna stand up for a second, is called the Beneath Waves vest. And you know, right now it's supposed to be fall, but in Minneapolis it's about 80 degrees. And so I'm in air conditioning all day. And so it's kind of nice to have something that I can just tear off if I need to, which I do often, if I have to go outside with my students. And I love this. It's a knit, and it was such a fun knit with all this texture, like right up here. Ooh, I love it. And you can also do a really cropped version. I'm gonna put a picture up right here. The pattern is written, I believe, for DK Weight yarn, and I used this beautiful chocolatey brown color by Bare Naked Wool. I bought it in Rhinebeck, which we're gonna talk all about today in this podcast, in this video episode. And Bare Naked Wool is an alpaca, and I'll put it in the show notes, but I held two. This is their Better Breakfast fingering, and I held it double. And again, the pattern is Beneath Waves. There's a crop version and a longer version. The pattern is like 25 pages long. It helps you make this garment fit your body exactly the way you want to. It's a beautifully written pattern. And it's by Johanna, Kunin. But again, Beneath Waves vest on Ravelry. I'll put all the info in the show notes. So hi, I'm so happy to be back. I have new glasses. I need more bifocal. I'm getting older. I kept finding myself as I watch these videos to edit doing this so I can look through the bifocal. So now these have a bigger bifocal, so I won't be doing that anymore. All right, Rhinebeck. Let's dive in to Rhinebeck. Okay, what is Rhinebeck? Rhinebeck is it's a city in New York State. And a lot of people call this Yarny Festival, like the festival of all festivals. Rhinebeck, because it's in Rhinebeck, New York, but it's actually the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. And it's been around since 1980, and I've been twice. And going twice, you have to know that I went with a handful of friends, first time and the second time. And I literally curate this trip for myself, but also for my friends. And if I had them here, they'd be like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that you did this planning, because it's a lot. 30,000 people come from all over the world to New York Sheep and Wool Festival. And so I'm here today to see if you are Rhinebeck ready, if you're going. Now, sadly, not sadly, for me and my pals, we don't feel like we could go every year. For us, it's a every other year kind of a festival to visit. And I've kind of found some really great things that are helpful in traveling to this event. I'll share them with you along with some other things that I have on the needles. And then at the very end of this video, I'll of course share my favorite things. Okay, so Rhinebeck, 300 vendors, 30,000 people. It's a Saturday and a Sunday. You can go one day, you can go both days. I recommend going 2 days. The first day you go, you get what you need and what you're looking for. The second day that you go, it's super chill. You don't have to go right away. It's, super laid back. There's much, much, much less attendees, and it's not so bananas. Now, this weekend, though, is chock full in the area of other yarny events. And so I'm going to kind of tell you how we do the trip, me and my pals, and then you pick and choose what you want to take from this. You could watch this and say, oh my God, you are a ridiculous fool. I like to just go in and wander. You do you. That is fantastic. But I am type A, and I am a teacher right down to my soul, and I am an organized, freaky bananas person who needs to have a plan. So when we go, we try to hit one other or two other events that are going on. Now, I'm not going to go down the whole debacle of Woolen Folk and what happened last year, because it was a disaster, and I was there, and yes, it truly was a disaster, but I was in and out in an hour and 15 minutes and got what I needed and got out before it got to bananas. The very first year that Woolen Folk happened, it's like a little independent yarny festival. It was beautiful. It was fantastic. It was right on the Hudson River. It was probably one of my favorite events that I've gone to when it comes to little yarny events. And I loved it, but then it just changed hands and things just went awry. But I also go to Untangled. Now, Untangled is in Saugerties. It's on Friday, so New York Sheep and Wool is Saturday and Sunday. This event is Friday. They have timed entries. You can get, if you're not going, you could go on their marketplace and get a ticket to their marketplace for free online, which I think is lovely. I don't think they're sold out. However, I think the early timed entries are sold out. They have a variety. I don't know how many vendors actually that they have. And sorry, I keep looking down, but I want to give you the right information. Oh, they have 40 vendors that are juried. If I was going, I would hit Hudson and West. There's some of my favorite yarn. I would hit Flies and Hellhounds, and I would hit 29 Bridges and look at all the other vendors that are there. I do look ahead to see who the vendors are, click on their links, see what they have, see if it's something intriguing to me. And if it is, I kind of make a list of, I want to hit their booths first. I am not the kind of shopper that needs to have the New York Sheep and Wool colorway. I need to have that. It's a one-time thing. I don't usually do that. So for me, it's not a big deal. But I do go with a list of who I want to hit, what I might want to look at, and then move on and look at all the other vendors. You can sit outside and do some knitting. It's just really fun. I'm going to pop up a couple pictures up here from Untangled from a couple years ago. This is, if you get the timed entry, that's one of the first entries, you get a swag bag, and it's a pretty good swag bag, I have to say. This is the one from a handful of years ago. It's a cute little bag with all these little people. It was full of yarn and stitch markers and coupons and stickers, and yeah, I loved it. I highly recommend going if you're there the day before. It's really, really fun. Another event that's the day before as well that I've hit is CAKEpalooza. CAKEpalooza is even smaller than Untangled. It is in Saugerties, Friday, timed entry. I usually go to that one in the afternoon, Untangled in the morning, CAKEpalooza. CAKEpalooza is put on by Alyssa Baptista of Cake Wool. It's in the parking lot of her dye studio shop. There's a lot of street parking. It's a little bit more intimate. There's some pictures here of me when I went and saw Chelsea Lux Yarn out of Red Hook, New Jersey. Talked with them for a while. It's really sweet. It's nice. It's if you're in it and you want to see more little smaller type venues in the area, it's worth going. it's worth a ticket. I think it's like $28 to $17, depending upon when you're going to go. Indie Untangled, a little bit more expensive, $35 for the early entry, all the way down to like $5 if you go later in the day. If I was going, I would hit Asylum Fibers, I would hit Chelsea Yarns and Botanical Yarns if I was going to that one. But yeah, it's just another really fun, if you fly in early and you're there for Friday, it's worth hitting. I think you have to buy purchase tickets beforehand, or it's recommended that you do that, so check them out. I will put links to these two yarn festivals, in the show notes, and check it out. So when I go to New York Sheep and Wool, we fly in, my friends and I, we fly in on Thursday, sometime on Thursday. We do not fly into New York City. Now, Rhinebeck, New York is about, I want to say, 105 miles north of New York City. So a lot of people do fly in, rent a car in New York City, and drive north. My friends and I fly into Hartford, Connecticut, and take the beautiful one-lane, windy roads to wherever we're staying. It's about an hour and a half, hour, maybe a little bit more, because we stop along the way. It's a beautiful drive. Backing up for a second, New York Sheep and Wool, Rhinebeck, is always the third weekend in October. I love that it's at that time, because as Minnesota educators, we have a 4-day weekend, Wednesday, Thursday, usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. This year, I will be visiting colleges with my other son, who will be launching out of the nest next fall. So we are hitting 3 colleges during that time, which is why I'm not going this year. And there's plenty of time to go to Rhinebeck. Don't have to go every year. But I do recommend going once in your lifetime. It's pretty wild. So we fly into Hartford, Connecticut, and I love that. It's super chill. The airport's small. It's not crazy like New York City. We get a car, we drive, we stop along the way, and we find an Airbnb somewhere around the area. Now, the first year we went, we stayed right in Rhinebeck. But last year we stayed in, I think it was, gosh, where did we stay? We didn't stay in Saugerties. We stayed in a little town called Rosendale. And I mean, you could stay as far out as you want, of course, but cities to hit are like Saugerties, Red Hook, Rosendale, Kingston. Any of those will kind of come up on your search. And Rhinebeck, New York Sheep and Wool is at the Dutchess County Fairgrounds, right in the city of Rhinebeck. And yeah, so you choose where to stay. You can stay in a hotel if you want to, but we really like to stay in an Airbnb, because then we have a living room and we knit at night, usually by the fire. If there's a fireplace, it's fantastic. It's so fun. But how we do it is the day of, which is Saturday. We get tickets for Saturday, and we go right off the bat. I think they open at 9. We get in line by between 8 and 8:30. Yeah, we're crazy. I know. This is how we do it. And so we get up, we get ready for the day. Super good tips, things to bring. A rain jacket. It poured rain last year. A travel umbrella. A little tote bag for your stuff. I mean, you might buy something there too, which they have amazing bags. A water bottle. Hand sanitizer, and just pack it up and off you go. Now, we park in the parking lot that's right, one of the parking, and go in the entry. I think there's like 3 or 4 different entry spots, and I believe we park at on the parking lot right off of Mulberry Street. Get in line, you chit chat with the people. Before we do that though, we do order online from a little bread shop. It's a chain. They have amazing egg breakfast sandwiches, or just breakfast sandwiches, or pastries and coffee. It's called Bread Alone. I'll put the link in the show notes. Bread Alone has online ordering. So we order our egg sammies. We show up. It's right in town. literally a 6 to 7 minute drive from the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. Either eat there out on their patio. Our breakfast is already ready for us. We don't have to, excuse me, stand in the enormous line and fill our bellies, and off we go. Now, we get in at about a little bit after 9 because we've been standing in line. We get pretty good parking, and we go all day. Like, we go until like early afternoon probably. So we either have a snack there, which they have cider and cider donuts. Are they worth the line? Yes, but you don't need to go there right away. We go in the afternoon, like 2 o'clock, to get like a little something something. And the falafel there is also very good. They have tons of food trucks and food vendors there. Kind of spendy, but whatever. You're on a vacation, you're on like a destination. And so, you just budget for it. But we tend to go back and have snacks and stuff after, and then go out for dinner, which I'll tell you a little bit about that too. But let's talk about this. So we eat our food, our breakfast, we head in, and you have something that looks like this. This is a couple years ago. This was last year's. I go on the website for New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and I scope out all the vendors that I definitely want to see. Yep, crazy toes. I know. And just so you know as well, in the beginning of this, I didn't mention that there are classes and things that you can take too. There's all these different free events. If you've gone to a big state fair, like if you're from Minnesota and you've gone to the Minnesota State Fair, it's similar to this. There's so much to see and do. There's sheep shearing. There's demonstrations. There's sheep herding with dogs. You name it, they've got it at New York Sheep and Wool. It's so fun. So I go through, and this is online. You can print it out, or pieces of it. And I go through and I highlight all the vendors that I want to see. I also am one of those people that I don't just go and say, whatever moves me, I'm just going to buy. I do have flexibility. Remember, I did say I was type A. But I do go in with a plan. And what does my plan look like? I'll show you the plan from last year. I do pretty much stick to plan, but I also give myself flexibility to purchase something spontaneously. I have these little paper protectors and pictures of things I want to buy for, okay? So I go in and I know I have a pattern. I look and see what I have in stash. Like, for instance, this is an idea of, I don't remember the name. I'll put it in the show notes. It is in La Bien-Aimée. Amy has a book called titled Worsted. And in there was this beautiful sweater, which I loved those colors. I had these already in stash, and I knew that I needed an oatmeal color. I knew that these were worsted and they were an alpaca blend, and I needed 600 yards. So I also brought this little sample of the colors that I was going to use for the color work in that sweater. This is just a clothes clip and a clothespin that I wrapped yarn around. And I brought this with me in my bag. It's tiny, it fit in my purse, it's not a big deal. But then I was able to match it up to what I was gonna knit here. Yep, I know, bananas. But it helps me because then I don't go home and go, oh, it doesn't really match. It's not really the right colorway. Oh, these are kind of muted and this is too bright or whatever. So I just wrap my yarn that I wanna pair it with on a little clothespin and stick it in my bag. I had a couple of these actually. I couldn't find the other one. This, I knew I wanted this color. I needed a specific yarn weight. I needed mohair and a sport weight or something. How many yards? I bought burgundy because I gave these away. and done. Found it there. This, I really loved this version of the academic vest by Jackie Rose. I took pictures from her Ravelry page and just kind of laid out what I would need there. These, I really wanted to buy DK weight yarn to make these mittens, which I did. And let's see, this, you know that I'm knitting this right now. We'll digress for a second. I'll show you where I am. I bought that, excuse me, at Wing and a Prayer Farm. This is the yarn that I did purchase for that. And I'm so glad I did, because this is the Widow's Kiss. I have it on the needles right now. I'm going to be wearing this to Sacred Sheep in Portland on the weekend of November 1st and 2nd. Woo! I love it. It's challenging. I've already knit the sleeves for it, and I knew that I wanted to knit this, and I knew that I wanted to buy yarn for it at Rhinebeck last year. So one quick thing that I wanted to tell you about, I'm always nervous that I'm not going to have enough and things are going to be too short. So I did a provisional cast on. So this is supposed to be 2 inches of ribbing. I only did 1. I'm going to go all the way up, finish it, and whatever I have left, I'm going to have enough. But I'm so scared of playing yarn chicken that I thought, well, this would be sufficient if I do run out of yarn for a ribbing. But that is another tip and trick of something you could do if you're like, not sure I can do a 2.5 inch ribbing, because then I'm gonna have 3/4 length sleeves. Pick your poison. What would you rather? Where would you rather cut yarn? And I would rather cut it in the end here. So this is kind of how we do it. And then, okay. So I also had this Sonder yarn. I had it in DK weight. I was thinking I wanted to pair some mohair with it for something. I did. Still haven't used it yet, but I do have it, and I was able to pair it. And I did take a little bit of this and wrap on another clothespin. That's what I had, so I could match it up. And then this one, I did end up buying yarn for. I love it. I've mentioned it in a former podcast. It's in a book called, I'll put a little picture up here, by Anna Johanna. And I did buy yarn for it, but guess what? Yep, I was able to pivot. I used it for something else. I used it for the Lakes pullover by Ozetta. And I also bought yarn for this. This is Kate from Spin Cycle Yarns, and I got this from their website. And I didn't buy, because I couldn't find something the Fua Fua by Moondrake. I didn't find the color Sage, but I did buy the yarn for the variegated spin cycle. I did pick that out. So that was really fun. And then my spontaneous knit and yarn that I purchased was by a yarn dyer who I met her the first time that I was at Rhinebeck. And her name is, and I'll tell you some other ones that I really love that I recommend to hit when you're there, if you're going. This is Lana Plantae. And I bought some of her fingering weight yarn for the little yellow cardigan sweater that Andrea Mowry, here's a picture here, and then here's a picture of my version. And I loved it. I loved working with this yarn. It's a rustic yarn. It's she does all plant-based dyeing, so it's a little variegated, and it's tonal, and I love it, and I highly recommend her yarn. It's she's always outside under a tent, and so look her up. I'm sure she's going again. Lana Plantae. You can also buy her yarn online, but this is yarn that you really almost want to touch and squeeze and feel and see the tonal differences in the yarn. But I am using this, and then I got the spin cycle yarn at my local yarn store, Harriet and Alice, and I am using this for the pressed flowers cardigan. So I did do a spontaneous buy as well. I didn't stick completely to plan, but pretty darn close, because you can go crazy there. There's so much to see. There's so much to buy. And it's nice to just have a little bit of a plan. Now, do my pals have plans when they go? No, not to this extent, but they kind of know what they want to look at. But yeah, I mean, if you knit the sweater, you can do the meetups on the hill. You'll see all the knit stars there. It's kind of fun. I saw Jen Geigley, which, by the way, I also saw Jen Geigley at this sweater weather get together in Hastings, Minnesota with her friend Erica. I'll pop a picture up here. I've been dying to see her. She watched my channel. I have watched her channel for years and followed her on Ravelry. And she's from Iowa. And I just adore her. Jen, I love watching your videos. I bought your pattern for your striped sweater. Yeah, anyway, actually I just watched it this morning. Jen uploads videos every Saturday, and she's super fun to watch. She is a pattern designer, and she works a lot with different yarn dyers and companies like Rowan. And anyway, I'm gonna put a link to her video in the show notes, but I digress. I saw her at Rhinebeck, and then I just saw her and her friend Erica in Hastings, Minnesota. I also wanted to back up for a second at the B-roll that's at the beginning of this video is me I am with my neighbor Teresa, and we went to Knitting at the Movies. Knitting at the Movies is sponsored by my local yarn store here. That's where I am right now. I teach classes here. This is called Dandelion Fiber Company. It's my happy place. It's where I buy all my yarn, mostly. This is where I film every week. But Dandelion Fiber Company, local yarn shop, another local yarn shop, Harriet and Alice, team up. They rent this little bougie movie theater, like one of the theaters within the theater. And they play a movie the first Monday of the month. I think it's like $20 to go. And they sell out like that, and they leave the lights on. It's so fantastic. So you can knit, you can chit chat, you can have a beer, you can have popcorn, you can have movie snacks. I always bring my junior mints, personal fave. And you just knit and chit chat with your friends really quietly, and you watch the movie. It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, this last one. I think the next one is Practical Magic for October. Can't wait. Anyway, that's what the B-roll is at the beginning, because it is all about where we knit, and I try to focus on that, and I did some knitting at the Movies. Okay, this is all over the place, my friends. I'm so sorry, but I want to share a couple people that if you're going to Rhinebeck, if you're going to New York Sheep and Wool, I gotta tell you these. So I told you go see Lana Plantae. Okay, I think that's how you say her last name. Go see Green Mountain Spinnery. They're out of Vermont. Mountain mohair, luscious, love it. Made the Felix cardigan or Felix sweater out of it. Go see Bare Naked Wool. They look like this. Their booth will be bananas. Another booth that will be bananas is Primrose Yarns. I met her there as well. The cool thing about her yarn, she has 50%. It's American spun and raised. It is, they have a Rowan Sport or Rowan DK that I've used before for a colorwork sweater. 50% superwash, 50% non-superwash. I love it. I love that yarn. So Primrose Yarn Company, she'll be bananas too. Let's see. Last but not least, you gotta go see my pal, Susie from Fiber MacGyver. Susie's been on here before. I did, I think, like my second or third episode of this little adventure of doing these videos. I interviewed her. She's debuting a new yarn at Rhinebeck. She got into Rhinebeck. Okay, please note, there are vendors 300 vendors. There are vendors who are on waiting lists for like 12 years. Susie is going to be at Rhinebeck. Part of the reason that she got in, I think, or at least she told me, is that she has this cute little, like a little camper that she calls Madge. And that's where she displays all of her yarn. It's a functional camper in many ways. But here's a picture of her in her little camper. It's so cute. But she's debuting a new yarn in Fingering Sport and DK. And it's called Shaniko yarn. And I'll put a link. You can learn more about it here. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I have a vest called the Cameo Vest, which I saw on a podcast by the Knitting Page. I saw this Cameo Vest on a podcast by the Knitting Page, and I am going to use her DK for that. So just waiting to get my hands on some. Susie saved me a couple skeins of the DK in a natural color. But please go find Susie from Fiber MacGyver. Go see her. Here, I even know where she's going to be. I asked her specifically if she could tell me where she's going to be. She's going to be by the main entrance. And don't be like too shy to have that be your first purchase, because I don't know if she'll run out or not. I would imagine she will, but check this out. Like, what? How cute is that? And that is where she's going to be, okay? She's going to be right there, right by the main entrance. Hit her booth if you go to Rhinebeck, just saying. All right. So what else do you do when you're in Rhinebeck, New York? Well, it's right by the Catskills, so you can go hiking. We stayed in Rosendale the last time we were there. Cute little town, super cute vintage shops. Okay, I'm gonna turn the page of my notes. You must go to this place called Westwind Orchard. It's a cidery. They have wood fire pizzas. It's in Accord, New York, which is just like maybe 20 minutes outside of Rosendale. It's worth it. We did see a bear when we drove there, but it's kind of in the woods. You don't know where it is, and all of a sudden it appears. It has little twinkly lights. You can sit outside or inside. They had big bonfires. They had a little market. Like, here's pictures of this place. You guys, it's so cute. We learned about it through the woman who is the host of our Airbnb. Best pizza outside of Naples, I'm just gonna say. Westwind Orchard. It's worth trying. And that's what's so great about this trip is all day you're just like, looking at all this fiber and seeing all these people. I mean, you're walking around and everybody's got something on that's knit. And if you don't, who cares? Doesn't matter. Don't feel the pressure to do that. You don't have to get on and do the framed sweater and meet up on the hill, and you don't have to do that. But if you want to, it's an option. But then at night we go back and we rest, maybe we take a little nap, we clean up, and then we have reservations somewhere for dinner. There's a great Indian spot, I'm pretty sure it's still there, right in downtown Rhinebeck. Sunday, we go out for brunch. We went to this place called the Amsterdam. It was so delicious. You must have reservations. You can sit on their patio, which they have heated, or you can sit inside, have a latte, have just a delicious pastry. Here's some pictures of us doing that here. It's so good. And then you just show up to Rhinebeck the next day at like noon, and you just walk around, or you go and run and get what you dreamt about all night because you were so mad that you didn't go and buy the first time. It's so fun. I hope you have a great time. I'm feeling a little FOMO right now, and it hasn't even happened, but I've been there, done that. We can, move on. Plus, I'm going to Sacred Sheep. So, and am I going to plan for that? Oh, you better believe it. I've already been planning about what I'm going to look at and what I'm going to buy. All right, let's talk about my whips. Let's talk about my favorite things. You already saw my Widow's Kiss. Widow's Kiss is a pattern by Baby Cocktails. I think it came from a book. I'm knitting it with Wing and a Prayer Farm. It's an all over, here's a picture of it. I've talked about it before, so I don't want to be too redundant. Yeah, love it. I'm gonna have it done. I already have the sleeves done, and I'm about up to my breasts pretty much to split for sleeves to go up. So that's what I got going. And remember when I talked about what I'm going to do with this Versus that I bought for $7 a skein? What am I going to do with it? I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it. Laura, who owns this, is part owner of this shop, she's like, check out the Morchella cardigan. She had the pattern. I bought the pattern and read all about it. Oh yeah, it is. So if you are a beginner knitter, you could do this pattern. It's so fun. I am right now just starting to decrease for along the V-neck of the cardigan. It's so fun and engaging, and like, look at how it's turning out. How cute is that? This is sort of a dedication to Jen Geigley because she loves this yellow color. And for goodness sakes, when you watch her podcast, you'll see that she has a little fireplace in her living room that's that color. I mean, that alone makes me just go bananas about Jen. But anyhow, yeah, I'm going to have this done too. Can't wait. These are going to be the two things that I'm going to wear when I am at Sacred Sheep. What else am I going to wear? Oh, here's the other thing. Remember I said I was going to finish this. Things are just falling all over the place. I was going to finish this Traveler's shawl. Yep, I'm going to finish it today. Yay, I wanted it done for fall. Knitting it out of a variegated yarn called Yarn Hero. And I love how it's just going to do this the whole way. It's a medium-sized shawl. I'm not going to open it all the way up here. You'll see the finished product next time. Can't wait. And then because I just got this bee in my bonnet to go through all my yarn yesterday because I'm planning what I can purchase and what I want to purchase for when I go to Sacred Sheep. And here is another thing that I am knitting for that event, Sacred Sheep. Yeah, yep, it's worsted weight. How cute is that? It is called the Kettle Cove. You can buy the pattern separately now. It was from last winter, Lana magazine. And how cute is that oversized vest? I feel like vests are like a really good thing for me right now because I am of the age of being really, really sweaty and then really, really cold. And then in a heartbeat, I'm sweaty again. And so it's just super easy to just like these vests. How cute. You can just pull them off. You can layer them. You can wear a blazer over the top. So cute. But what am I knitting that with? Well, I'm knitting it from Stash. So I started it. I cast it on. I'm going to use this. What is this? This is Pearl Soho Linen Quill Held Double. I'm going to use that for the ribbing. So this is all I have so far. But when you look at this, I love the colors that they used. And I like to be creative on my own and pick up my own colors, but I'm so attracted to these colors mixed together and keep thinking about what I could wear them with. I have like cords I could wear them with. They're really cute with jeans, really cute with so many different things. So I am going to mimic those colors. I mean, as much as I can. So this is a fingering weight linen quill. I'm going to hold it double. I am holding it double. Then I have this Peary Brooklyn Tweed in the color Hammock, and I'm going to hold that. Oops. I'm going to hold this double. It's a fingering weight. So that's going to be the lighter color. And then I have this that I got from, I think, Farmer's Daughter Fibers. It was a mystery bundle kind of thing, because you know I love a mystery bundle. And this is the color that I'm going to use. Now, I think this is a sport weight, so I might hold it with mohair, or I need to just gauge it a little bit. I might have to hold it double, but I'm not sure I'll have enough if I hold it double. So I don't know, but these are the colors. And I think it's gonna be really sweet. I'm gonna use this. This is kind of blowing out. It's a little bit lighter than it's showing on the camera, but I'm gonna use this for this. So that's kind of all the knitting content that I have today. It's a lot. I mean, I had knitting content and then I had tips and tricks for Rhinebeck, and I hope I mentioned everything. I sat down while I was watching, having coffee this morning, early, watching Jen Geigley's latest episode, because she comes out with episodes every Saturday. And so I had that on my list of what I wanted to do today. But yeah, I think I've mentioned everything. I'm just looking at all of my stuff. Today I'm going to a really fun event at Keepsake Cidery in Dundas, Minnesota. I think it's about 35-40 minutes from Minneapolis. I'm going with my college roommate / super good friend Lisa, who's also a fiber artist and she's really good at crochet. Tunisian crochet is her jam. But we're gonna go today. We're gonna go have a beer at this cidery, go check out their Fiber Fest, go to the orchard, get some apples. I'm doing a unit on apples at school this week, so it's a good way to get me some props. And yeah, it's gonna be really great. So thank you for watching. Oh, what? Favorite things, Kristen? Duh. Okay, favorite things. Links to all of this, again, in the show notes. Dry drops. Okay, I love to do my own nails. I'm too cheap. I do get pedicures, but I'm too cheap to go and get my fingernails done. And so I do my nails, but I'm way too busy to sit and let things dry. And so these are by Olive and June dry drops. I'm gonna put the link in the show notes. These things are magic. Like, you can do 2-3 coats, put this on. It's kind of oily. Don't get it on anything else. And then all of a sudden, your nails are dry. You can just go about your business. It's fantastic. Second thing is this. It's called Ruby Wood. It's the Retro Matte Lipstick by MAC. Okay. And I'm a Swiftie and I love Taylor Swift's bright red lips. And can I wear that to work? Not really, but for going out and stuff, because I do that so much. Not. Anyway, but it's just kind of fun. But it's this beautiful, bright, beautiful red. I can pull it off a little bit because my hair is lighter color and I have really white skin, but I love it. My husband gave it to me for Christmas. He did a little research because he heard me talking about Taylor Swift's bright red lips and how I'd love to pull it off sometime. So he found it. Pretty sweet. And then lastly, my favorite thing is all of the dang produce that I'm getting from my garden and from my CSA. So this weekend was a plethora of, I needed to start using some of this produce before it went bad. So here's what I made. Gazpacho, zucchini bread, pesto. I made chicken noodle soup, homemade chicken noodle soup, made my own broth and everything. My son loves homemade chicken noodle soup. What else did I make? I roasted tomatoes. We have all these cherry tomatoes from our neighbors too. And I lay them out on a sheet pan, put some Italian seasoning on them, put some salt and pepper on them, douse them with olive oil, stick them in the oven at 400. And then I have these little pillows of roasted tomatoes that I can pull out, throw in chili, throw in soups, throw in whatever. They're just all these little stacks of, it's like books. You stack them kind of like books, but they're in the middle of winter when tomatoes just taste like nothing, they are so delicious. So if you have a plethora of tomatoes and things like that, so yummy. It's my little quick tip. But my favorite breakfast right now is whole wheat English muffin. I take Greek yogurt and I have been putting some fresh garlic in them, some chives, some everything seasoning from Trader Joe's, whipping it up, putting that on, and then a slice of fresh heirloom tomato. I love it. So that's my favorite breakfast. So have a wonderful week. Thanks for watching. I'm so grateful. I love your comments. I try to make sure and read every single comment and try to reply. I'm so grateful for people who are subscribing. If you like what you're watching, please subscribe. It does make a difference. I know you hear everybody say that, but please subscribe so you can get the content fresh when it comes out every other weekend. So hopefully I get this up today. I don't know. I have a lot of editing to do, of rambling, but I'm so grateful. Thank you. Have a great 2 weeks. See you. Bye.